So the first photo, yeah, so that's Yulemi. Actually, she is not currently sponsored, by the way. I didn't realize that till after we did the video. So you will have the opportunity tonight to become an angel and participate in our child sponsorship program. So that's Yulemi. And then 1991, these 5 people. So I want to introduce these people to you because you might not recognize them. Lori Connolly, now Lori Henkel on the left, was the founder of NOE. She was a Portland businesswoman, Brindar Design, and then Brindar Foundation was what funded NOE in the early years. And then Brett Margaret Hespin, who are here tonight, wave at us, you're back there, yeah? And Brian and my wife Mireya, who's here, yeah, tonight. So, in 1991, we went down to Morelia, Mexico, all together. Had to come up with a name. NOE. We had to come up, I don't know why they did it, but we had to come up with a 3-letter acronym name, right? That was the rule. So, for our particular legal status. So, NOE, Nuevas Oportunidades Educativas. New opportunities in education.
New organs?
Yeah. New organs, and they're expensive. So, new opportunities in education, and means Noah in Spanish. So NOE is the name Noah in Spanish. Had to come up with a program. So what we landed on was education, supplementary education. We don't do elementary school and junior high. We do after school and before school programs. Some kids go to school in the afternoon. So English. Very important, actually in the entire world, in any country where English is not the native language, English gives you, like in Mexico, education and job opportunities. English, homework help, art, music, basketball, and youth group, kids Bible club. Pretty much what we do today. The program hasn't changed much at all. Hespens and us, we haven't changed much at all. What has changed is the building. This was our first building, 1992, January 1992, that orange building. We opened there, and so since then the buildings have multiplied and gotten just a tad bigger. So it's been fun. NOE has always been this mix of education and ministry from the very beginning. And so tonight, you know, when you see kids like Axel start turning the corner, and it's just because of English. He wasn't doing that well in school. And then he starts English at NOE, didn't want to go. I mean, his mom forced him to go. In Mexico, they pull him by the ear, right? When the parents come up to us and say, hey, if my kid doesn't, you know, if he's not behaving in your class, and they do this. And I'm like, okay, dude, yeah, I'm gonna, you know. And so Axel starts turning the corner. You can see it. He sort of gets a little smirk on his, he says, and so the teacher, you know, she says, ask Axel or ask me if you have a question. Like, who would have ever thought? He's thinking, right? And he's turning the corner spiritually, too. He's open. He's very involved in a youth group. And his mom is a Christian lady. And so it's pretty exciting to see that happen. And that's what we love to see at NOE, that education, because we're giving something. It's not just a hook, like somehow get them in the door so they listen to us. It's something that's going to help them regardless of whether or not they become Christians and are open to the gospel, right? So that, in a nutshell, sort of is NOE. Now, among our team in Mexico, I'm the old guy. I'm the viejo, el gringo viejo. I still even have this little booklet, you know, and I write things down. This is where I wrote down the word paringarikutirimikwaro, because I had to say that word in order to be able to marry Mireya, according to her, my future father-in-law. He said, you got to get a job, and you got to be able to say paringarikutirimikwaro. That's like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, right? And so, you know, and by the way, best decision I ever made. Yeah. So I write, new words in Spanish down here. I got some of my favorite sayings down here. I got one jotted down here by J.K. Simmons from the Farmers Insurance commercial. It says, "We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two." And also here, I've got a perfect square. I like numbers. I was a numbers guy. Actually, John Haley here was in my calculus class in Tucson Christian when I met Mireya and was rooming with Jim Paris back in Tucson. I mean, that's ancient history, dude. But perfect square verse. Why? Because 4 squared is 16. Ephesians 4:16. This is a great verse. From him, from Christ, the whole body, joined and held together by every supporting ligament, grows and builds itself up in love as each part does its work. I love that verse. Because when I was thinking tonight about this sort of historic night for us and what to say, I just kept coming back to team. NOE is such a team ministry, such a team-oriented organization. When we first went down, Lori wanted a team, so that's why 2 couples went down, not just 1 couple. So we were a team. After just a couple years there, we added Hugo Bedoya, who's here tonight with his wife. Hugo, stand up. Where are you at? Yes, okay. Yeah, Hugo and Miriam. So he started at NOE in 1993. Came on to the team, and we started Explorers Bible Club in our room. That's all we had. But we weren't like, oh, we need a big place to go. We just do it anywhere, right? And the kids had fun. Hugo Bedoya. We've got other people from our Mexican team tonight, which is really cool. Juan Peralta. I got a little more to say about him, but we'll wait till he wakes up there. Eric Garcia. Eric Garcia is the director. Eric? Yeah? So, hey, a little water under the bridge since that photo, right? Eric grew up through the program, came through the program, is now the director of Vida West. He married Abby Putman, who's now Abby Garcia. She was an intern. How many other interns we got? I saw Jake Miller, Ryan Hernandez, Jeff Long, several interns. Part of the team that has made NOE work, the interns. It's amazing. Andrew Moses, intern, right? So, Eric married Abby. You couples, you have this idea of Mexico, like dangerous or something. Morelia is a very romantic place. Okay? So, I highly recommend visiting. Ale Moreno's here tonight. Ale's going to be... She will be the director of NOE Primero, starting in July. And Ali has a powerful testimony of how she came to know the Lord through NOE. So she started in high school, and it's just, over half of our staff came through the program at NOE. And so they are obviously an important part of that team. But there was another part of that team that I sort of want to come back to tonight. Because by the late 90s, let's go back a little bit. By the late 90s, NOE was growing. We moved into a larger building just after a year and a half. The one we're still at today, NOE Primero, one of our centers. And we had that, things were going really well in Mexico, and then all of a sudden, the business that supported us, profits started to dry up. And we're like, we had to get another team member alongside us, and that was you. Because it was a little weird, but normally missionaries, they go down, they have to come back and furlough and relationships and newsletters, and it was a little different situation. We were sent down by a business. We had a job description. We had objectives to meet, but we didn't necessarily have money to raise. And then the business that supported us started going downhill. And so at that point in our history, that's when you guys came to the picture. And as I think about NOE, I'm like, do they realize how important of a part of the team they are? Let's go over this a little bit. First we got the board, which, I'm just, the board, right? Because to find pictures of these guys, I got to go back in a box in a closet somewhere. Photographs used to be on like paper. I don't know if any guys remember that, right? And they're hard to find. It's like, so we've 9 board presidents. How many have just served on the NOE board? Just raise your hand quickly. I'm not going to name names, but yeah. Doug Hinkle back there, the board president, and Doug Goebel, our first board president, and Ron, yeah, been awesome. People giving of their time for NOE. Dream Team, we decided in 1996 to have our first exchange team, so where cream of the crop kids would come up and spend a month in Portland. We've had, this summer will be number 25. 25 Dream Teams, okay? So, for the Dream Team, we needed host families. How many people have been host families? Yeah, look at that. That's amazing, right? Host families for one of our Dream Team kids. We've got angel programs. So when we had to go donor-based, yeah, Christine and Kayla are laughing. They're like, oh, that was a while ago. Even our kids were in that program. We started an angel program to help with the sustainability of NOE, right? And you guys said, hey, I'll do that. Without that, NOE wouldn't be where that is today. A golf marathon started in 2002. I don't know if you remember any of you guys out in Gresham Golf Course, right? And those were good times, 100 holes in a day, and to raise money for NOE. And then we started doing real marathons. Yeah, 2012. And started doing the Portland Marathon. We were in the Apple Tree Marathon. We now do our own event called the Amigos Run. We'll do it this July when the exchange kids are come up. So if you ate too much tonight, you're like, I just got to start exercising. There you have it, 8 weeks, and you can do a 5K. Couch to 5K. Look it up on Google. It'll tell you how to do it. Okay? So, work groups have come down and done work on NOE. This is Loma Libre. This is how it looked in 2013 when a work group came up and did all the sheetrocking in there. But a lot of groups have come down and just sat on the sidewalk outside NOE and talked with kids in English, which is huge to them. They see they can converse with an American in English. It's just like, man, it's working, right? And so work groups have come down. And so another big part of the team, people have put events like this. It's all volunteer. Put this together. Amy Campbell and her crew, man, it's just amazing. It is amazing, right? God is faithful, So we look back on 30 years and say God is faithful, but in my mind I'm thinking, okay, that faithfulness, how did it manifest itself? It's by people hearing a need, God moving in their hearts, and you saying, I can meet that need. I'll be an angel. I can host plenty of students. Yeah? And then, after years, we look back and say, wow, look what God has done. But you, team, have been a part of that, a big part. And what I love about NOE is that I think that team, it feels more like a team because now we have a lot of people coming down to visit, but every summer, what do we have? We have people coming up. We got our exchange kids up here, and you meet them, and you're like, oh, yeah. And so it feels like a team. And if you're here tonight and you have supported NOE, you just got to know that a lot of times, honestly, I thought, I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if we can raise that money. I don't know if... And I think Juan and Ali and Eric and all those who work down at NOE, Hugo would say the same thing. They've been in houses and seen the needs and say, wow, this family needs God. This family needs NOE like you have no idea. And if we could just reach them, right? I've driven 25 times now, the 4-hour trip to Guadalajara or Mexico City to get a U.S. visa for exchange kids. So imagine they've got this goal of being exchange students in NOE. They've worked hard. It's a 4-year process just to get picked. And then they go through another year of preparation. And then they go for the last step that's totally out of our control. They have an interview with a consular officer to get approved for their visa. And I'm just as nervous as they are sitting there. And we watch people coming by crying because they didn't get their visa, right? And And the kids are like looking around like, oh my goodness. And once they get it, the whole other part of the team takes over. The host families and the organizers and the plane trip. I mean, it's just an amazing team. Mark Tucker, you were at that golf marathon all those years ago. Yeah, I mean, amazing team, guys. I just can't tell you how much I appreciate what you have come up and stood up and done for NOE. Yeah, pretty cool to look back. And now we're taking a big step. Let's get back to that Juan guy who's sleeping. Maybe he's awake. Yeah. Juan Peralta was a NOE student back in, whoa, sorry. Now I'm taking out your fire, Juan. Sorry about that. Well, there we go. Tacos, right? So if you know Juan, you know about tacos. But the reason that taco picture is there, let me go back a little further. Juan studied English at NOE, was an exchange student, and back when he was going to come up to Portland, I wrote, he's a quiet leader. Remember that? Yeah, you remember that, right, Carolyn? That's his host mom here tonight. And so he came up in 2001, went on to graduate in economics, and in 2007, any of you who've been down at NOE and eaten tacos al pastor at J. Campos, at J. Campos Tacos, you know exactly what place I'm talking about. And Juan and I met there in 2007. He was in between jobs, and he said, do you think I could ever work at NOE? Yeah. And we said, yes, totally, come on. And so he's been working at NOE since 2007. He's been, for the last few years, the director of NOE Primero, one of our centers. And we are doing as an organization things that a lot of organizations don't do. And that's, we are a U.S. organization, NOE International, and we are so invested in Mexico. And NOE is all about Mexicans doing the work down there. It's not like getting more Americans. And now we're saying, you know what? You know who the best person for the job of executive director to take over this organization is? It's a Mexican guy, Juan Peralta. And so I will hope that you will give a really, really warm round of applause to the next executive director of NOE International, Juan Peralta. Come on up, big guy.
Oh, man. Thank you very much, Brian. I was a student for 4 years, and Brian was always my English teacher. Teachers come and went, but I was always stuck with Brian. And it was, no, it was really good. It sounds like, yeah, but it was really good. So if I make any mistakes on my English, you can blame it on him. Yeah. Or if my jokes are not funny enough, you can blame it on him. Yeah. But it's an honor to be here today, and like Brian said, and for many of us here, and for many of you who have visited NOE, it's a place where transformation takes place. NOE's transformed my life, and I could spend hours and hours talking about it, but I only got like 5 minutes, and then they're gonna cut my mic, and then I'm gonna have to go down. But it is an amazing place. It's a place where we invest in our students, and they go and do amazing things with their lives. They get better education, better job opportunities, better marriages, especially better marriages. Like Brian said, it's a really romantic town. My wife, Melissa, who's sitting here tonight with me, was my student. I told her she had to drop out so we could date. And she did. No. No, we waited until then, yeah. So, but this is where my first ministry starts, so thank you, amor, I love you. This next week, we're gonna turn 10 years of being married. So, yeah. It's been really, really, really good. Cinco de Mayo, that's our anniversary. There you go. I chose a good date. It's not the independence of Mexico, but we can talk about that later. Yeah. So, like I said, we've seen our student go through so many things. The majority of our staff, like Brian said, are former students. He mentioned Ale Moreno, who's the next director of the plays that I was directing, and she's way smarter than I am, so that's also good. It's going to be in good hands. She received Christ out on the stairs of NOE, just with a prayer, and that's how she became a Christian. You've heard about our exchange program. I was a part of the exchange program back in 2001, long time ago. Makes me feel a little old, but that's okay. And it's just a life-transforming experience. All of our students who've been through that, they just come back and they say, like, you know what, I know that God has a plan for me. I know that I can do better things with my life, and that is what we are all about. So I just want to tell you a story about one of our students in the screen, Oliver Peralta. He's not related to me, which is weird because that's a weird last name in Mexico. Peralta is not like Garcia. Sorry, Eric, but you know. But he was an exchange student. He's the first believer in his house, and just like what Brian was saying, a lot of their parents come and tell them, "Hey, go take their classes, but don't listen what do they say about God." Because we don't want them to, play with your minds. But it's funny how God changes those things. Now he's a believer, the first believer in his house. And 3 weeks ago, he was in an accident. And it was a motorcycle accident. And his mom calls me and says, "Hey, this is Oliver's mom. And he told me to call you so that you know that he's in an accident and he wants you to pray for him." So I got on the phone with Oliver. And I couldn't understand what he was saying because he was in so much pain. He broke his leg in 2 parts. And I just couldn't understand what he was mumbling. But I was just praying for him and praying and praying. And then at the end I said, like, well, man, I know God has this in control, so don't worry. And then I could finally understand what he was mumbling. He was mumbling and repeating a verse over and over again. He was saying this, Jeremiah 29:11. Jeremiah 29:11. In English, not in Spanish. And it's our theme verse at NOE for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and to give you future. And that is the kind of gospel that we like to share with our students. It's not about like changing our religion, but speaking words of hope and words of truth that can change their lives. So NOE has impacted lots of kids' lives. And towards the end of my trip, back in 2001, when I was saying goodbye to my host family, it was really emotional. We do a farewell party and everybody's like saying goodbye, and I remember just having this, how do you say, like something in my throat like the size of a watermelon, just like wanting to cry, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna cry because I'm Mexican, and Mexican guys, and And a lot of people were crying, and one of my the guys who went with me wasn't crying, so like make me feel strong. It's like, okay, yeah, we're not gonna cry. So we got into the plane. We were sitting together, and I was just about to turn to him and say, like, can you believe how much they were crying? I mean, it's just like, So I turned to him, and he was bawling, So I just started bawling, and the thing that I don't think I ever told this to my host mom, but. The thing that made me feel the saddest is to think that I was never going to get the chance to maybe see them again, or do something with them. And I'm so glad that wasn't the case, because they've been a part of our lives. They came to our wedding. We spend time with them when they come, when we come up here and when they go down there. So it's a place that it's transformed my life in a lot of different ways. And the point that I wanted to make with this is that for us down there too, I feel really overwhelmed with the way you guys respond to our needs, like what Brian was saying. It is honestly really humbling for us to come, and maybe for all of the Mexicans who work here, to see how much you respond to our needs. I'm just like so humbled by the way you respond, and I'm just thinking all the time, it's so unbelievable that you don't even know people who are there. You haven't been to their homes, or you don't know the needs that they have, but you're saying, I want to be a part of that. And I'm really thankful to NOE because among a lot of other things, it's also given me some of the best friendships I've ever had. A lot of my closest friends are actually here tonight, and it is a team, and it's also a family. When we come out here, it's just like we have an extended family here, and that's just like something that really, really, it's unbelievable for me. And I also want to say that when we see the need in Mexico, and when we talk about numbers, don't think about us as numbers. Think about us people in need. You know, when we think about numbers down there and we want to bring more people to know Christ, is because we see and we feel the need that they have for a place to be taken care of, a place to be encouraged, a place to be empowered. So when you make a decision tonight to donate money, don't think about us as money. Think about their lives that you're going to be helping transform, and the lives that you're going to be touching. And also, as a new executive director, like Brian said, I feel really, really honored to work with a great team down there. We have the dream team that comes here from exchange students, but I also feel like I have a dream team of leaders down there who are just willing to take over the vision of NOE and understand what we're for. So I just want to say thank you very much, and I hope that you guys can all visit us down there. It'd be amazing to have an event like this down there with all of you down there, and you're more than welcome to do that. So thank you very much, and God bless you.